everyone, welcome back to my channel, All Things Jesus. My name is Adriana and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. If this is your first time, like, comment, subscribe, and push that bell so that you can get notifications when I have a new video. Anyway, this one is an impromptu video, and I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys a little bit of what I believe the Lord said to me today. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Ashley Empowers, and she had a live video about God's divine nudges. And when I started to watch the video, I felt convicted, and I just knew that the Lord was speaking to me about 4 reasons why we are complacent when He does reveal our destiny, or like she said, when He gives us those divine nudges and tells us what to do in order to walk into our calling and our purpose. And so I have my notes on my phone because I don't want to veer off topic, and I want to give it to you the way I felt it in my spirit today. So there's 4 of them. The first one is, I think we often forget, and this is why we stay complacent and do not move, that God knows the end from the beginning. So we're thinking with our finite human minds, and we're like, that seems a little bit too big. I don't know how I'm going to get to that, so I'm going to just stay right here. And we're forgetting that He already knows. He already knows the outcome. So He put that nudge, that desire down on the inside, because He knows what you can do with Him. Okay? And we forget that the story has already been written. Just, we need to walk in it. Number 2, we forget that we're His masterpieces, that we are His handiwork, like it says in Ephesians 2:10, and that Jesus has already prepared stuff for us long ago to walk into. So we forget that we can't reconcile our now with that future and what God has placed down on the inside, as Sarah Jakes Roberts would say. And so we're just like, no, I don't think I can do that, because we're too busy looking at what we see down here in the natural. And because right here seems so paradoxical and so different from what you feel on the inside and what you can possibly accomplish, you don't want to move. At least I've been there where I don't want to move. I feel like, how can I reconcile this? My now don't look nothing like what you telling me, God. So I don't think I can move on that. Number 3, I think we often forget that if God has called us to do something, we can't do it in and of ourselves. That if He's called us to it, it's because He's the difference maker. He is the one who's the way maker, the one who is going to make it ultimately happen. We can't do it ourselves. If you can do it yourself, it's not a God idea. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not a God idea. So this is why we often probably have that feeling in the pit of our stomachs like, I don't know if I can do that. But what I want to tell you is the one who has called you is faithful to do it. It tells us in 1 Thessalonians 5:24, and that's talking about God sanctifying us and making us pure before Him and making us blameless in His sight. And it says the one who has called you is faithful to do it. And why am I saying that? Because if you're going to walk in your calling and your destiny, you can be blameless in His sight. He's going to help you to do that. But if you don't, how are you going to be blameless in His sight? How are you going to be sanctified? How are you going to know I did everything on this earth? I died empty if you don't do what God has called you to do. So you have to remember that He's the one that makes up the difference. He's the way maker. We can't do it ourselves. Number 4, and this is one that gets me. We forget that our fear, our lack of faith needs to be put under a light, a microscope. What is going on here? Why am I afraid? I found that when I'm afraid, that is the enemy, because we know God does not give us the spirit of fear. So the enemy comes in and I'm like, you know what? It must be something on the other side of this thing that if I do it, it is going to be a game changer. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to be saved. Somebody's going to be renewed. Somebody's going to be edified. something is going to happen, whatever it may be, because he doesn't want me to walk in my God-given purpose, my God-given talent. And I believe that for you guys wholeheartedly, that the enemy knows what's on the other side of your obedience, the people who are waiting on the other side of your obedience. So he's going to try to subject you with fear and disparaging comments and thoughts and all these other things. And you have to tell yourself, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what my mind is saying. Cast down those thoughts. Cast them down. Okay? Capture your rebellious thoughts and make them obedient to Christ Jesus. We have to walk in whatever the Lord has called us to do. And I know that's so popular to say right now. What has the Lord called you to do? You better walk and you better do it. But it's for real. And I think that these are the 4 things we often forget. And this is why we don't do it. So I just want to say, walk by faith and not by sight. It's very cliche, but it's in there for a reason. Because if you walk by sight, you will not do half of the things that God has for you. All right, guys. So I just wanted to get that out for you. I pray that someone needed that today like I did. There's a lot of things that I have been sitting on that I have not been doing because of fear and me forgetting who I am and whose I am. And I don't want you to do that. So, as always, guys, until next time, whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Bye, guys.